scared me, but I can talk to the dead. I'd give all I have to hear my daughter's voice. If someone wants to be heard, we are here. Listening.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 crime mystery, A Haunting in Venice. The film is directed by Kenneth Branagh, and it stars, of course, Kenneth Branagh as Hercule Poirot, Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Dornan, Tina Fey, and we also have Kelly Riley. Now, the film follows, once again, Hercule Poirot. This time he is in Venice, and he is pretty much retired at this point. He's not interested in taking any more cases. He's completely fed up. And then his friend, Adrienne, turns up, played by Tina Fey, who is a novelist. And she basically convinces him to go with her to a séance in Venice, because she can't figure out how this medium, played by Michelle Yeoh, is actually doing it. She believes she's genuine, so intrigued by this, Poirot goes to the reading. Essentially, thinks he's exposed this medium. Some spooky stuff happened that he can't explain, and then a murder takes place. It is then up to Poirot to come out of retirement, hold everybody in that location until the murder is solved. Right, what are my thoughts on A Haunting in Venice? Well, I've actually quite enjoyed all of the Kenneth Branagh Poirot movies. Murder on the Orient Express I thought was pretty decent. Death on the Nile I thought was pretty good as well. They've all got this real glossy sheen to them. You know, they feel like they belong on the big screen, these Kenneth Branagh Poirot movies. And I think Kenneth Branagh is really fabulous as Poirot as well in these movies. Now, I'm a big fan of detective movies, detective games. If you follow my content on the channel, you know that I have covered quite a few Poirot games over the years and Sherlock Holmes games over the years. So I like a good detective game and I like a good detective movie. I grew up watching Columbo, all that kind of stuff. I really do quite enjoy it. So this type of movie is fashionable again now. Since Knives Out was such a big success and the sequel to that, it seems like murder mysteries are, you know, back in fashion, I suppose you could call it. And each of these Poirot movies that Kenneth Branagh has delivered us have all done pretty well at the cinema. I think this one's doing okay, but it's still fairly early. It's probably going to do well enough, you would imagine, to maybe potentially give us another one. Who knows? Now, oddly, when there's been like a trilogy of movies, sometimes you can always look at that trilogy of movies and you can kind of choose which is your favourite. With these three movies, these three Poirot movies that Kenneth Branagh has given us, strangely, I can't honestly pick a favourite. I think they are all of equal quality, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not sure. I have reviewed I've reviewed Murder on the Orient Express on this channel. I have reviewed Death on the Nile, and now this one. I haven't gone back and checked my scores on the other two, but I think I have scored all three of them the same score. If you want to go back and check, you can do, but they all feel as good as each other. That doesn't mean I think that any of these films are outstanding and unforgettable and really very, very good indeed. I think they are all above average, very watchable, and very, very well made and highly polished movies with some really good performances in each of them, not only by Kenneth Branagh, but each film has had like very well-known actors and actresses in them who deliver, you know, stellar performances as well. And we've had Judi Dench, we've had Johnny Depp, we've had Gal Gadot, Jamie Dornan, Michelle Yeoh. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of all the famous faces that we've had in these movies. And it's almost like the murder mystery equivalent of the Expendables, if you like, you know, pulling these big names into these movies. And the location here for Venice, I just think, is just a stunning location. Now, I believe this movie was based off a short story of Agatha Christie's rather than no, I think it's based off a novel. I think it's one called Halloween Party. So it's kind of, it's one of the lesser known ones, if you like. Obviously, everyone knows Murder on the Orient Express. Everybody knows Death on the Nile, all that kind of stuff, and the other well-known Agatha Christie ones. So he's kind of gone for a lesser-known one, and he's changed the location as well, because I think the novel was based in the UK, where he's moved this to Venice to make it far more cinematic, and I think he's filmed a lot of this in Venice as well. I mean, it's got some stunning locations. Very, very stirring stuff. Some pretty special cinematography going on, and it really does raise the atmosphere. And this film does dip its toes into, I don't know if horror's the right word, because it's got some jump scares in it and things like that, and it's got some supernatural themes going on it, and there are some things that are unexplained, but also there are logical reasons given, mainly by Poirot, as to what some of those unexplained things are. So it balances it, I think, really, really well between the supernatural and the scientific. And I think the film does a remarkable job of, if you like, letting you kind of make your own mind up. But it's always fun to see Poirot, you know, almost like toying with his subjects, you know, when he's interviewing them. And it's the same process every time, you know, he interviews them, he confronts them with the facts and the evidence, and then, you know, more things happen, and then by the end of the film, you know, everyone's gathered in one place, and then, boom, he reveals to everybody. And it even though it's the same formula each time, it's almost like, you know, when you watch like a sports film or a Rocky film, those follow the same formula, but they're just so successful because they don't necessarily deviate away from that formula. Whereas the atmosphere here, and, you know, the setting and the themes differs from the other movies. The blueprint of the Poirot, you know, how he detects and things, is still at the very core of this film. So it's clever in a sense of it doesn't deviate away too much from what you would expect from a Hercule Poirot movie, but it deviates away from it just enough for it to really stand out from the other two in its structure and how it's presented to us as audience members. It's very dark this time as well, obviously, because of the themes involved in it are quite dark. In regards to who the culprit is, you know, I don't think it's a million miles away from figuring out who it is, not overly difficult, but you could argue that for all of them as well, I suppose. It's just the fun seeing how he gets to his conclusion, sort of thing. So I quite enjoyed this one. I do recommend it if you're a fan of Poirot. If you enjoyed the other two, you're certainly going to enjoy this one. But anybody else, I suppose, I don't imagine this will be the place to start if you're not really a fan of that sort of thing either. So I hope you enjoyed checking out this review. Thank you very much for watching. I will, of course, be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.